Mr. Senaby?
Here.
Mr. Simpkins?
Here.
Mrs. Zoff?
Here. I'll stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, any additions or corrections to this agenda? No. Approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Senaby?
Yes.
Mrs. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Zoff?
Yes. And we're going to enter into a motion to discuss capital improvement projects.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Senaby?
Yes.
Mrs. Zoff?
Yes. Okay. We received a list of capital expenditures that are capital improvements from Michelle. Did everybody receive those?
I did. Was it any different from the one that we received on the auditorium that day? You received on June 18th. I shared with the board an updated list along with the proposal that you have from guard paving in front of you tonight. And in that, I talked first about capital projects already approved, and then those that were needing to be addressed in the order in which I felt they should be addressed.
And Michelle has I think, did you bring a printed copy, I think, just for your notes, right?
I brought the printed copy of the guard paving, but I did not bring an updated.
Is that, it's okay. Is everybody?
It's still sitting.
It's still sitting there. You can pull it up on here.
So I can go through verbally and talk through what items that need to be addressed. I don't know that it's necessary to talk about things already expended, if the board's in agreement. The first item I had listed was the bus garage parking lot. Previously, there was an estimated cost to do a full replacement of the parking lot for $40,000. I have an updated quote in front of you for $8,600, which would be a minimalist approach to address the areas in which the bus garage is sinking, or I'm sorry, the parking lot is sinking. I do have photographs if the board would like to see them. We did walk that during the capital projects when we walked the building. This is an area that needs to be addressed. We've already broken 2 body mounts, and it is not an option to drive around the situation.
The old quote for 40K, is that still on the table? Is that a different set of?
It would be more in-depth. Basically, he'd scrape it down, address the drainage issues. So there's a lot more involved in that project. And at this point of the summer, I'm not even sure Doug could complete that prior to the start of school. I'd have to talk with him about the timeline.
Okay.
This one he gave us on June 20th would be to excavate the existing asphalt, haul the debris out, and bring in new limestone and asphalt to repair the areas that are sinking.
Did he give an idea of how long he thought that would hold?
He did not.
I guess the question would be, are we spending another 8 to 10 next year doing the same thing?
This would be a short-term repair. It would not be something that would last long.
One of the problems is with the busway and everything else, it's always that's always flexing, that's always moving. And, you know, at one point he pointed, when we went and looked at it originally, you know, the 40,000 is the way to fix it. The 8,600 is just to patch it so we're not busting bus mounts and everything, and chassis mounts on our buses anymore. Because it's gotten to the point that if you go back there, I mean, I went back there not too long ago in my flatbed to look at something, and it tossed me around pretty well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, from my understanding is that because they're driving around, it's creating another area, is that correct?
So, the 80, is the 1,200 under the 86, like an additional, you do the 86, then we can upgrade it another $1,200?
The $1,200 is for the main parking lot to address the potholes on the main parking lot. That's separate.
Okay, so this is the total bus garage patch.
Yes.
And then this is the
parking lot.
parking lot patch.
Michelle, did you say you could still get it done this summer?
I can call Doug tomorrow and find out what the schedule would be, how long it would take, and when he thinks that it could be done. Obviously, weather permitting, they are under the mercy of Mother Nature.
Both options or just one, or it didn't matter?
I would ask it for both, yeah, so we would have all that information.
And to Kirk's point, probably the estimated lifespan on all the options.
And you would go back and ask about the 40K proposal as well?
Sure. I can send the text while we're sitting here and get an answer for you before we leave. But that is something that we do need to address relatively quickly.
Right.
So,
Do you want to go through the list of improvements and then come back to going up to the one particular one maybe? Or
Sure.
Okay.
That was the first priority
Yep.
one, right? Yeah. There were a lot of things that were already done on here, but the parking lot and the back by the garage were the most pressing ones.
the second item on the list was the purchase of a bus. We purchase one per year. This is so that the district is not purchasing 12 school buses all in the same year, which means they will fall out of warranty and under disrepair at once. We try to stagger that. So that would be something that would be planned and was already planned in the budget. The gymnasium doors need to be replaced, and I did provide, again, on June 18th, a quote in that same folder that we'll have to address at some point.
Are they, you said it was a latching problem with the doors?
Yeah.
So what happens now when you try to lock up or shut or?
Roger's here. Specifically about
A couple issues we're having with the doors. Some of them are split from getting pushed open a little too far and stuff like that. So we got some splits in the doors. Number two, what's that?
In the actual wood or the frame?
In the actual wood.
Okay.
In the actual wood of the doors, we have a couple that we've already kind of pieced together by the hinge areas. The center posts in those are made to be removed. Okay, the problem is they've been removed one too many times to where they're sloppy, and the problem is even if they're tightened up, the whole center bar wiggles and stuff like that. So there's a couple of times you can pull on a door hard enough, it's going to open up even though it's locked. But the splitting of the doors is probably one of our biggest issues. We got there's 3 of them that are split pretty good. We've got them bound together as best as we can right now, but you know, I'm not sure how much longer that's going to last.
And there's 4 doors going into the gym, or are you talking even the one that goes into that little room?
There's a total of 8 doors.
Okay.
There's 4 openings. Each of them have a double door. We got 3 of them that are split pretty bad. There's a couple of them that are split that'll probably handle for a little bit, but at this point, we can't guarantee how long they're going to last.
So 2 posts and 3 doors?
As far as the posts, I know we have one on a scale of 1 to 10. One is about a 9, another one's about a 6.
Okay.
the center post. The other two are holding up for right now. The one that's real bad has already been drilled. They try to drill and retap it to try to get it as secure as possible. Also, the mount that bolts into the concrete at the base is breaking away. So the concrete would have to be taken off and reconcreted, let that dry, reset some new anchors in there so that base stops moving.
So when that gym was put in, we didn't have all the gates that we now have.
I'm sorry?
When that gym was put in, we didn't have all the gates that we currently have throughout the building. Are there any doors that just you can't access regardless? It's safe. I assume if somebody got in the building, you don't want them getting in the gym. Is that the idea?
Right,
You
yeah.
lock the gym. So are there, like, for instance, on the south end doors, I imagine that those are always locked off, yes or no?
Well, if you get into either over by the home ec room or if somebody gets in over here, they got access to the gym.
Okay.
So
either way
there's
you
no
go.
gates, to those main entrances. If they come in from door G in the back or door J over here, yeah, there's gates blocking that entrance.
Okay.
And if they come in from the front, there's gates blocking that. But we have two main entrances that if for some reason something happened,
Got it.
they still have access to the gym. There's no gates in those areas.
And the total cost for replacing all the doors is $26,700.
All meaning three? Three doors, two posts?
2 steel removable center posts, 2 7-foot steel key removable center posts. Let's see what else.
Thank you.
It was on 4.
And there's no real issues with safety on them?
I'm sorry?
There's no real issues with safety on them at the moment? Or is there?
That's tough to say. I mean, those center posts are loose. If somebody kicks one hard enough, there's a very easy chance that it can come out. We have to remove those a number of times throughout the year for after prom and stuff like that. And I have to remove them when I bring the lifts in to do any lighting work or anything in there. So they constantly get removed and installed. And the looser they get, the easier it's going to be for them to just come out.
Okay.
And that price is for 4 double doors.
So it's 4 frames in 8 doors.
Correct.
4 frames in the frame in 8 doors.
Doors is 26. So could we get a quote for the 2 posts and the 4 doors?
That's everything. That's
I know,
outside.
but he's saying that only 3 doors really need replaced. This is for 8 doors.
Well, when you do a job like that, like with me, we call what's a remobilization charge. So if you're going to replace them, it's always cheaper to do it in bulk. It's cheaper on the labor, it's cheaper on everything else. So yeah, you could probably do 3 and then either next year or in 6 months if a door falls off, then they hit you with the remobilization charge. That's normally what contractors do.
The problem is the frames are so old they can't get those center beams.
Yeah, the center beam, yeah, clearly.
So you'd be replacing the whole frame anyway.
That's what I'm saying, 4, it seems to make sense to do 2 posts and 4 doors, but we don't necessarily need the other 4 doors.
But the problem is they couldn't just do that post. Because it's so old, they don't have that, so they have to replace the whole frame and everything
Maybe I'm
anyway.
misunderstanding which doors. Is it not 3 doors on 2 posts? How many posts are involved in doors that are?
What it is, you have a solid frame, you have a removable post in the middle, and 2 doors.
Right.
All right, so that's one entrance. The problem is with that center post, being as the age of, the unit, that they don't make those anymore. So, unless they want to sit there and customize something, they're not going to be able just to order that. They would still have to replace the complete frame.
Sure, I get that. What I'm
Okay.
saying is, why don't we replace 2 complete frames versus 8 doors? 2 complete frames would be 4 doors, right?
Right.
Right. So that's my question, is what is the cost of replacing 2 complete frames versus 8 doors and 2 posts?
Probably around half. But what he's saying is they have three definite frames indoors. It all comes lock, stock, and barrel.
He said there's 2 posts that need to be replaced now.
It's not just the post, he's saying the doors are split and everything.
Right, so that was my next question. Of the 2 full frames that need to be replaced, are all 3 doors within those 2 frames? So which entrances are the problem?
The biggest problem is the entrance that comes over by the home ec room. The
So
split
that's
doors.
The southwest door.
That would be, yes, the southwest door.
Okay, and both doors on that are bad, and the...
No, the doors on that one aren't bad.
That's the post.
The
Okay,
doors
so-
that are split are the ones closest to the stairs down here, which would be the northeast. That one that we had, that's probably the worst door.
Okay, 2 doors.
The other bad door would be the northwest door. We got a split one over there. When I'm saying they're split, is when you take the depth of the door, they're split by the hinges. So the one that we repaired, we put 4-inch screws in there just to try to get it to hold to the hinge. Well, the problem is you know, they let out for recess or whatever you want to call it, and they come to lunch, everyone rushes out those doors. Problem because the more that splits, it came off the hinges last year. And we sat there and tried to take a piece of metal around it, try to get everything to stay together.
So how much life do you think is on the southeast door?
Well, that would depend on the kids. It's once it's compromised that far, the wood's just going to keep splitting.
Well, I think what you've described as northeast, northwest, southwest. You haven't said anything about the southeast doorway.
Well, that believe it or not, that one doesn't get used very often, so that one is actually still in decent shape.
So it sounds like we need the replacement for 6 doors and 3 frames.
At the very minimum.
But this is just for 2 frames and 8 doors.
No, that's for the quote that she's got for replacing all of them.
For all of them.
All of them.
Okay,
All
so
4
I
frames,
guess-
all 8 doors, the whole 9 yards.
Okay, so I guess let's see what it costs to not do that 3rd door then if it doesn't get used very often.
I can ask him.
Maybe it takes off a 3rd of the cost.
What's that?
Just to back up real quick now on the doors, but on the, if the decking of the permanent improvement.
I'm sorry, I can't hear
The
you.
bus that we purchase each year, then,
Yes.
is that a permanent improvement levy, right?
Correct.
Usually, yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Are we ready to go on to the next one?
Chromebooks will need to be replaced next school year. Budgetary number is based on the cost to replace today, which is $71,600. And that's grades K through 12.
When you say next year, you're talking about which
So that would be the
school year?
1920 school year. So these are things you're preparing for as you plan. Parking lot, we've already discussed, the large price versus the $1,200 patch check today.
Which we did last year too.
Correct. Windows, again, we have discussed at length, but this is something that should be on the board's radar, should the district remain independent. I've listed Windows 212, 114, 118, 217, and 116, which are leaking on a regular basis. Most recent quote, which was summer of 2018, I believe, was $550,000 approximately to do windows and facade.
Did we ever get anyone to come out to take a look at the brick in the center of the,
No.
just see if there's any safety concerns or what the cost would be if there are? Do you not think that there are any safety concerns, or I'm just asking? I don't know.
Yeah, it's leaning out. We
Right.
have pieces of brick falling down. What we should do is get a contractor to come in and at minimum net that area.
Yes, I absolutely agree with that. If we just see how much that costs, just make sure that there's no safety issues with it.
And then the final thing on the list not been assessed yet would be the bus garage main building is in need of repair. It is starting to come off, and Marty can talk about that as well. There's the foundation issues there.
That bus garage is, I think when I first got on the board, was something that has been coming up. There may even be some old quotes from Mullen, I believe, Michelle, on fixing it, but that's probably 6-7 years ago.
Yeah, one.
Yeah, you know, John Gingrich and I would pressure wash that thing every year, and we never painted it.
Do you want all the weeds, I know you talked about it in the facility tour, but what do you think are the priorities on this garage?
Right, the foundation. I mean, that foundation's been in bad shape for a while. And it wasn't, I mean, it's been in bad shape for quite some time. Kim, what do you, when we're looking at the bus garage, if I remember correctly, the foundation on this far side has been deteriorating.
Correct.
And it's progressively getting worse, if I remember.
Correct. It's pretty bad all the way around.
Where?
That is the worst side.
Yeah.
And I think because of the drainage over there,
Yeah.
it's eating it away.
So are you working on getting a quote for that, just to see?
Does the board want me to get a quote?
Especially with the safety concern, but
We have quotes, we have quotes that go back 6-7 years, we've done nothing with. So if the board is wanting to address it, I will get a quote.
Right, so that's why we're talking, because we need to decide what that priority list is, and, you know, we don't want to waste anyone's time going round and round and getting things if it's not on the priority list in the next 12 months to spend money on. So,
Well, it should be.
well, right, that's kind of why we need to discuss that today.
So I guess the question is, the quote that we have, is the quote that's on there to replace the entire building, the bus garage, do we have a quote on that?
No.
No.
You have a quote for only taking the parking lot down and addressing the drainage issue, which is part of the problem with the bus garage itself, is that the drainage has never been addressed, and so you have a drainage problem, which is eating away the foundation.
Okay.
So if you don't address the one, you're not going to be able to address the other.
Right. Okay. Makes sense to me to get a quote.
Is everybody, Terry, you good too?
That's fine.
Okay. And that is the bulk of the items that I had listed for the board to consider.
Michelle, can you go into the Chromebooks a little bit more? I know we have Chromebooks, this is a replacement of those Chromebooks.
The life expectancy is 4 to 5 years for Chromebook. This will be our 4th year of using them, we're going into. So next year will be year 5, so we'll start to see degradation of the technology.
Do we have any known issues with them right now as they sit?
No, they do repairs over the summer on those items that need to be fixed, keyboard replacement, motherboards if they need to be. But as with anything, particularly with children using them,
Yeah, right.
yeah, the life expectancy is 4 to 5 years. So we have to plan for that replacement.
Okay, and
In the
then,
1920s.
and so just approximately about the timeline of when we would need to.
I would come to the board in April roughly of 20, and we would initiate the purchase order, and then we purchase over the summer and pull it then in 21.
Okay, so not,
2021 school year. So we would be doing the purchase in the 1920 school year, this school year.
this April is when we would want to,
Right.
so you could have them working on them in the summer to have them
To
deployed.
deploy them to 2021 school year.
Is that quote that we have, is that something that would stand? Or is that number going to?
It's based on today's price, so it
It's
could
just a
go
rough
up.
number of the budget.
Correct, but there's no way for me to know what the technology will cost a year from now.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And at that time, we can also assess whether we do grades 9 through 12 only. You know, are there Chromebooks that are still suitable for use in the elementary grades? I mean, that's something we would look at as well.
Right.
Obviously, we wouldn't go through a full replacement if we wouldn't need worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario.
Once we're looking at a decision by April, we need to come up with,
Yes.
the bus garage, we need to do sooner, like within the next few weeks, we should come up with, is that?
Well, the parking lot of the back by the garage.
Yes.
Okay. Just so I know how much time we have to.
Yeah, in order
The
for it to be addressed.
Gym doors, with their works, did they give you an idea of their capabilities, their work schedule, their timeout, lead time, or whatever?
No.
They would do that to give them
Something
Yeah.
more.
I mean, we got this quote.
So the bus, so the bus parking lot is first, the bus foundation, the garage foundation is second, is that, or the netting of the brick is second?
I was just gonna say, when we're talking health and safety, the netting of the brick bumps up to number one in my opinion. If anybody walks by and gets hurt, God forbid.
If you're gonna do the netting, what I would do is also, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rooms that are leaking. I would get an architect or engineer in here and have them give you what they can do to stop the leaking. Even if it's a temporary fix, it's still probably gonna be $40,000-$50,000, but it's probably not a good idea to have students in a classroom getting soaked. Not so much mold. I mean, this building doesn't really, other than the plaster on the old part of it, doesn't really lend itself to a ton of mold issues.
Well, we gotta worry that the windows that are leaking, they're leaking right into the univents.
Ooh.
So, it's
Into the units?
into the univents, the heating system. So,
Yeah, we
Although-
have to, because that's been going on now for quite some time.
So,
yeah, but it's just to the point now where it doesn't have to be extreme heavy rain.
right.
It's
So
that
could we
bad.
get
Yeah.
to that we could have a quote for the netting in those specific classrooms by that July 23rd, since we were gonna meet anyway, July 23rd, so we can vote on it? Or is that too close to get that quote for?
Because it involves an architect, do you think that would?
I mean, I would at least have, or if you can find a contractor that'll come up with a fix for it. But most contractors really sort of stay, especially at the public school. They won't say, well, you can caulk around the windows, you can do all that, which is still detrimental to the building. It's not the right way to fix it. So I would say for those, what they're gonna say is the whole facade needs to come down.
Right.
We've already gone through this 3 times now.
Right.
And they've said it 3 times, every different architect, they've said, just take it down and fix the windows.
Right.
So, as far as Band-Aids, I don't know what to say. That one, I think I would be interested to see what they say.
You think that somebody would be able to come up and say this, or is it get
They,
somebody on my agenda?
normally, like I said, with the public school, with a school, contractors don't just, like putting, it's our liability that's on the line. So it's not like, it's not your house.
Right, so
You know.
we have Glenn come out then to put a quote
Yeah, you could
together?
get Glenn to come out,
And
but Glenn, last time that I met Glenn out here, he said it's time to do the facade. I mean, that's been the ongoing thing now for 3 years. So I don't know, yes, maybe we can come up with a quick fix, or we can talk to somebody to do a quick fix. I don't know. Okay.
Thank you.
So now quick fix is available. What's the option?
Yeah, they'll do something, let the burner.
Replace the windows, right?
Yeah, I mean, they've been telling us that for quite some time now. That's, that's nice. Replace the windows.
Pretty obvious, yeah, pretty obvious.
I mean, when you were on the board, was there anything, I know there was some facade work on it.
Yeah, that was on the older part of the building, on that
Nothing.
There wasn't any leaking at that point, there wasn't any,
And that was by 97?
no, that was 90 or 93.
Yeah. So it's quite a few years.
Well, it's been there since 58.
Yeah. Oh, the building's done its job. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. This building really has. I mean, going around with a lot of the schools that I work with, this building's definitely held up very well. It just hasn't gotten the TLC that it needs on a regular basis.
All right, so the bus parking lot, brick netting, and potentially some kind of solution for the water coming through the windows, and then the foundation for the bus garage.
Are we addressing the lot or the garage first?
Oh, I'm sorry. I personally am okay, we need to patch those holes in the parking lot, and I would support doing that at the same time. I don't know what anybody else's views on that.
Wait, doing what at the same time?
The parking lot patch, the holes that are in the parking lot need to be patched.
I think she was asking, getting a quote on the whole foundation, or can you repeat your question?
Right, I mean, the question is if we're organizing things in priority, and things that can be done now versus 6 months, a year from now, are we going to address the bus garage parking lot as a high priority over the bus garage?
I guess I don't know the extent of the foundation work, but probably the bus drivers could say the whole is probably a bigger.
The drainage is a big, big key. Ask him. I mean, we've been out there dealing with this for years.
I think the priority, because we're actually destroying our buses going around us, is fix the bus garage, or fix the driveway coming in.
Right.
Then, because so nobody breaks their ankle coming into our building, we patch the holes. He's here, it's just a shift of the crew. One of the other things that's not on here should probably be the circle driveway. We do have loans for that, and they're old, so anything over 30 days is no longer good.
So this 1,200 is for where
For the asphalt.
The
For the
asphalt.
asphalt parking lot, not the
Not the
concrete area.
concrete, around
Around.
Circle Drive.
okay.
We would have to be redone of concrete.
Yes.
That would have to be dug up and
Yeah, we have quotes for that. We looked at that 2 years ago. No, wasn't it was last year?
So
It was part of the, yeah.
What was that like?
Off the top of my head, are we around 18 or something?
I say 20.
Yeah.
It's
18.
actually less than what I thought, for what you were describing.
No, I mean,
Because it's just the concrete area, not, that doesn't include anything.
yeah, it's not going through the sidewalk or anything else, but the sidewalk and all that has been replaced, not that, pretty quickly, or pretty recently, I should say. The big thing is that the concrete where it drives, and once again, that was a drainage issue. When they got into the old, when they fixed that one part, they had water undercutting everything. So that's where we're at now, and it needs all to come out. I looked at patching it, and there's no patching it. The sections need to come out, and it needs to be redone.
Not the sidewalk, just the drive.
Just, yeah.
So in my opinion, if I understand if everybody wants to wait until if we can get together on the 23rd and then go on some of the service on the quotes, but I personally would be okay with proposal 1 and proposal 2 as of today. I don't know how anybody else feels.
Are we able to do that, Michelle?
Sure, you can make a motion, we can add a motion to the agenda. One of the things that I would tell you is, and this is why I'm giving you the option, so if you are going to address the bus garage, that would likely be a summer project, because I don't believe that it would, and I have to double check with Doug and a contractor, but I think it would be difficult to complete a project like that while we were in session, Marty.
Yeah, no.
So
But if you're talking about the driveway going into the
the
bus. garage,
driveway and the bus
yeah,
garage
the
itself,
bus
because we
garage.
have nowhere, we would have to move the buses onto the main parking lot so that we could address that back area, and we can't do that while we're in session. So we do the two quotes that are in front of you today, we would approve those for this fiscal year. Then if the district would remain independent, and you would then next year be looking to do a true fix of that parking lot, which would be the true dig up, address the drainage, and address the bus garage, all in the same.
Just, I'm not trying to throw a million wrenches in there, just a question. Does that bus garage currently suit the needs of the bus transportation department?
As best that it can at this time, yes. I mean, it's, yeah. I mean, it's not gonna fall in.
Oh, but I'm just saying, like,
Definitely needs to be addressed in the
if we
near
were going,
future.
if, like, say we are operating independently, moving forward, is that building, if it needs to come down, do we just need to look at a different shaped, different spot, do we just need to do
No,
things
no,
differently?
we need to address and do proper drainage in underneath the parking lot, and then it won't eat away at the foundation. Because no matter what kind of building we put there, if you're not dealing with the foundation issue properly, you're gonna continue to see degradation of the foundation. So if next spring, it's determined that the district is independent, then you would want to make that a priority to address that parking lot properly and the bus garage in one motion so that you're addressing both issues.
At one point, yeah, it does. At one point, you had said that you were getting quotes to have Preston take care of the busing situation. If we ended up going that route, would we be housing the buses at all if we stayed?
Yes, you'd still be housing your buses here.
Okay.
Yeah, because Preston would only be doing the maintenance of them, but we would do minor maintenance still here. I've talked with Maggie about we need a replacement driver, and I've talked with Kim about this as well. And so we're looking to hire someone who can do both the maintenance, minor maintenance, and drive, so that we have kind of a dual purpose employee. And then major stuff, we either contract with another district like Cardinal or Preston. At this point, I see Preston as more costly than beneficial, but we can talk more about that once I have some more information from interviewees.
So, if we could keep our, so I'm just, this is not, I'm not saying that's stupid, so everybody's in agreement, though, if we could keep our July 23rd time to get together and get the quotes for getting the facade perhaps netted sooner than later so that we don't have any incidents. And maybe if some of these other estimates, like the gym doors minus the third door come in and stuff, maybe we could be prepared to take a vote on those July 23rd. I don't know, is that too soon for everybody?
No, it has to happen. I mean,
If we could get the quotes, I think that's the major issue, is just getting somebody in here and willing to give us a quote.
In my opinion, the back hole in the bus garage is not pretty. That would be priority, and brick on the facade would be priority, but I understand if he's coming in anyway for $1,200 for the potholes, that doesn't send me into shock at all.
So in case, do we want to check with Doug on whether he's able to get it done, or we just approve it and hope that he can get it done before the next, is that the plan? Before the school year?
So Doug responded.
Oh,
Good.
good.
So we make a time. He said the repair should last for about 4 to 5 years. Unfortunately, the surrounding area will fail sooner, which will cause premature cracking in the new asphalt. Completion would be a day to prepare, 4 hours to pave. That can be scheduled for Friday, allowing to set up over the weekend. Let me know. So looks like it's something you can do. Relatively simple.
Good with that? Or at least get some action in there. We want to make sure that's done before the school year and the buses are out of there. Okay, so I need to enter a motion for that? Or do we need to
Finish this
finish this
conversation
and we'll do it again?
I can, if the board would like, since we're having a regular meeting, I can add it to the regular board meeting agenda.
Great.
And then you can just vote on it in the next meeting.
Great.
show up on the 23rd if we were to get some musical to get some of this other stuff on?
Yeah, I think we talked about it last meeting. Yeah, you were on vacation, but yes. I think everybody's good with that. Okay, so we'll enter into the motion that the regular meeting for the bus parking lot and or the bus lot, and then the patches. And then we'll also, on the 23rd, look at the brick netting, patchwork for the water leakage, and then potentially foundation for the bus garage. Is that correct? And the door.
Door minus one of the. When do you have to purchase that bus time?
Kim, we usually do that, what, February? Bus purchase?
You know, it all depends. I mean, we can order it at any time.
I think we've been doing it in person.
Are we still part of that, for lack of a better term, that group that we get?
Through
The
person?
consortium?
Yeah.
Yes, we are, but as we've ordered buses in the past, we've been sticking with the ICs that have been very reliable, and they actually have been coming in at less money than the other ones. And the other thing is, even if we don't order a bus through the OSC, we're still getting the same price. And I was told that by our salesman from IC. He said, we're giving you the same price as we give them. So,
Could you explain, as enrollment goes down, should we be looking into smaller buses instead of
No.
ordering the full-size bus? Could you go into that a little bit for me, so I understand that?
we've been ordering the 65 passengers.
Sure.
Um,
Which is what?
that those are a bit smaller than some of them that we bought in the last 5 years. You really can't go any smaller than that.
Okay.
You really can't, because in the afternoons, with even if we, I'm working on routes now, reconfiguring. Still in the afternoon, because the elementary and the high school all ride the same route. You have 40, 45 kids on a bus. Just because it says 65 passenger doesn't mean you get 65
Right.
passengers in it.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything they want to add? All right. Just a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Mrs. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Senni?
Yes.
Mrs. Socks?
Yes.